What's going on, guys? Today's podcast, we talk about my anniversary weekend and how, as introverts, we need to learn to accept who we are and the reality of life and opening yourself up and learning to connect and whatnot. A lot of good stuff. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Introverted Intellect, helping you overcome shyness, social anxiety, depression, and realizing the power of being an introvert.
Welcome to
Introverted Intellect, a podcast for introverts.
What's going on, guys? Johnny Raxa here with the Introverted Intellect, back again, folks. All right. Well, for those of you guys on YouTube, first of all, new angle. Yes, the camera is right over here instead of right over there in front of me. And I'm very actually excited to see this new format going on here because I think the better angle sometimes gives a more personal feeling, right? So to see you guys a little bit closer, I felt like, hey, why not? Give it a little shot, see how it goes. And if you guys don't like my face that much, I can definitely put it back. Or if you want to see a little bit less of it, by all means, you don't have to watch this video. You can listen to the podcast. And of course, my daily coughing on my podcast, every time I do a podcast, I seem to be coughing a lot because I don't talk this much or this enthusiastically often because, of course, me being me and working from home and doing the things I do, does not require a whole lot of talking. So every time I talk a lot, I end up, coughing. Well, first off, guys, I just want to thank you guys once again for listening to me. I recently have been telling people about my ebook that I recently sent out last week to close friends and family of mine to just kind of read over before I fully release it. The full release is going to be coming out actually within this week. And so you guys just stay tuned for that. It's going to be a very simple ebook. I take my writing seriously. So if there's anything that comes up that you guys want to talk about, that you guys, that folks want to know more about, or they feel like this is wrong, or this is something that needs more clarification, by all means, let's talk about it, right? I've talked about some of the stuff on the ebook on this podcast, and it's been very fun, enjoyable experience, and I just love writing. Writing is just a passion of mine, and I would definitely do it again for sure. Okay, moving on. This past weekend was my anniversary weekend with my girlfriend. It's been one whole full year, and it's been quite an enjoyable up and down roller coaster of emotions, yet really thrilling and joyful experience of my life. My 1 year anniversary, my 1 year time with the love of, I'm not married to her, but she's the love of my life romantically, okay? And I had 1 year ago, actually, around this time, I was very, very in a relatively lonely, dark spot. I had to cope with a deep, deep loneliness. I left a community, a community of people, but I had to move on. I took a different path, and I went my separate ways, right, to a different way. And quite frankly, months later, I became super lonely, right? First of all, a tip for you guys who leave a lonely spot in their life, or have become lonely, or leave, have a breakup, or something where you have to move on from something and it hurts you. One tip for sure that would help is to immediately place yourself around the presence of loved ones. That puts your soul and your mindset back into the reality that you are loved and you have people in your life, and it's a reminder of that. So by all means, if you end up in that situation where you just feel deep in loneliness, try book the next flight to visit your family. Book the next, go on a vacation with your loved ones. And if you can't do that, at least call somebody that you know that loves you, to reach out to them and talk to them. You need people in your life. I don't care what you say, being an introvert and how much you hate people. I know, as I say this a lot of times, I don't care. you need to have somebody you love to be there and to show, because it's subconsciously shows and reveals the fact that it subconsciously tells you that you are, how do I say it, you're loved. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought for the moment there, but yeah, you have to do that. Anyways, moving on. I was in a lonely place, and my girlfriend came. Like, it's hard for me to actually get a girlfriend because I didn't want to meet anybody. I was too scared to meet any girls in my life, and I wasn't really confident in who I was. It was crazy. And this girl shows up out of nowhere in the blue, thinking I'm the hottest thing on the market. Like, I am like that I'm it. Like, I am, there's nothing else. Like, she went on other dates as she was kind of checking me out, and she just cannot compare them to me. It was like comparing like a Mac computer to her. It was like comparing a Mac computer to like a Dell PC laptop that's $500 or something like that. Because for some reason, to her, not only was it was the looks, but like my ability to just put myself out there, to meet people, to talk to people, to have that personality where I had a lot of interests and whatnot. Like, for some reason, it just sparked in her a desire, a want, and like a need. Like, I need somebody like this. I want someone like this. And she could not help it but like me so much. And the next thing you know, I at first I'm like, no, I can't do this. I'm alone. I have a lonely life. I left the community. I just feel like my life isn't, like, I don't know what I really want. I don't know who I truly am, right? And then so I decided, hey, let's go on a non-date. And I said a non-date because I was like, oh, just as friends. Well, fast forward to that non-date. We went to a bar, had a couple drinks. I mean, we weren't drunk or anything, but we drank, and I told her about kind of my life and where I was in life and my situation. Long story short, she just accepted me for who I was. And that began a journey together that I realized where accepting where you are is a huge, huge deal to overcome a lot of issues in your life. That, like, if you're in a spot where you're just like, I don't know what is going on with my life, who I am, where I'm at, and you're like bombarded by this value and this value, you're just going to come back to who you are and accept it. Accept that you don't know, maybe. Accept that, because when I left my community, there was a mismatch of, like, does that community bring me the identity that I thought it would bring me, or does it, or do I need to search for it on my own? Like, who am I really? Like, what is it? And I came to find, when she accepted me, and when she loved me for who I was, I just let that flow, And after that, all of a sudden, like months later, as I continue to start, date her and whatnot, I became really accepting who I was. I became really joyful and happy. Like, oh, there's somebody who knows two sides of my life. And then she slowly integrated the two. Now I am this, and now I'm fully capable of being able to accept that, who I am, because one part of my friend groups knew a certain part of me, and another part knew another part of me. So we had, like I said, it's just two lives, right? And finally, I can join the two because of her. I feel like she had a huge role in that, and that's what I want to talk about today, is that, you need to grow as an individual by just first starting off as accepting who you are. I mean, I'm not only going to talk about that, but I'm just going to say that just in who you are, if you don't know, like, if you're holding on to a life and you're holding on to, if you want to continuously shift your mask here and there, like you want to wear a mask from this friend group, you want to wear a mask from another friend group, and maybe you want to wear another mask with your family, like you just cannot maintain that all. It's exhausting, right? It's just it's utterly exhausting. And when you can just finally let it go and be like, yo, look, I struggle with this, okay? I drink alcohol. Yes, I go out to bars, whatever, and and I whatever. If you go out, you love to go dancing at the clubs. Like my old friend group, we never did that. We thought it was like the worst thing, but like to me, I always wanted to go. But yeah, now I'm open to say that I go to like these raves sometimes to kind of let loose. I probably don't want to go anymore, but I mean, since from the last time, long story. But it's your personality, who you are. You just got to embrace it. I recently, when I just told you guys that I gave an ebook to my friends and family, some of them. I wrote in the email specifically, I trust you guys. I trust you guys to not, like criticize me, but critique my book, but don't criticize me. Don't judge me as a person, but like critique the book. So that's what I told them, and I trust them to do that. They're like the nicest people I know, my nicest friends and family, right? And I specifically asked them to, just for good measure, not to tell anybody else. That insecurity is still held within me. That really goes to show, that email that I sent out goes to show I still hold something within me. The fact that I'm doing this podcast, if you guys heard that, a loud honking noise out there. Honking wars, at this time of hour. Anyways, there was a sense of insecurity that I had in my life, a sense of, there's insecurity that this own podcast I was about to say is not really well known to my friends or family. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to put that out right now. And if some of you guys are listening, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just, as long as I don't know. I think that there was a question I asked, who is the most critiquing? Who critiques? Who is the most judgmental of who you are and what you want to do in your life? And I feel that it's family and friends. You want to know why? It's easy to see somebody from a distance be successful. You say, good for them. But when somebody close to you is successful, for sure you want that competition. For sure you're looking out to be like, oh, he did it? He's doing that? What? Like, oh, him? Really? Is he really doing a podcast? Ew, like, what? Like, your closest friends and family are for sure the ones that are going to be the most critiquing of you as a person. Because they know you. They know you, and then and the competition is real between, like, for instance, siblings. Siblings are always they compete with each other all the time. Even though I don't compete with my brothers and sisters, brothers, but I know that there are people close to me. I have felt a sense of like, what are they doing? Really? Like, I know them, and they're doing well for themselves. Oh crap! Like, I gotta do better. Like, there is a sense of competition, and I didn't want that with the people that was close to me, of my friends and family. Right? I think in the end, that sense of feeling of judgment from people, it's like it's hard to grasp that somebody is doing that to you. But if you are bombarded, if you're stopped in your tracks because of that, you'll never get anywhere in life. Never. Like, the judgment from other people cannot define your path to life. Because in the end of the life, you're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, like, I felt so judged. I felt so judged that I didn't live the life that I wanted. I lived the life of the opinions I thought others were thinking of me. Okay? The worst thing you can do for yourself. The worst thing you can do for yourself. I'm a young dude, and I've established that fact, that reality with myself. Like, I cannot let other people's judgment get in the way of what I want to do in life, right? And even with that foundation in my head, I still feel like it's hard for me. I still feel like I'm getting judged, and I don't want to be judged, so I don't want to do stuff that will cause me to be judged. That's why I wouldn't make a good salesperson. Like, I can't feel the rejection. The rejection is so hard to deal with, right? And that's what I just came to realize, this past week is you have to have somebody who will accept you for who you are. You are going to get judged no matter what you do. Someone's going to talk about you. I'm probably in the mouth of somebody's. If you're not being talked, I mean, to be honest, if you're not being talked about, like, what are you really doing? When you're going against the grain, someone's going to talk about you, right? When you're doing something that is out of the ordinary, like a podcast or writing a blog or like doing videos and stuff, and like it's going to be talked about regardless, you know, like it's something nobody, if you're playing video games all day and like not doing anything, like even that you're going to be talked about. We talk about my younger brother all the time about how he plays video games so much. And that's like a normal thing for people to do these days, is just play video games, right? And yet he gets talked about in a negative way a lot of times because he's always playing video games. So no matter what you do, you're going to be talked about. And that doesn't matter. I mean, what's that going to do for you in the long run? It's only going to, like, is it going to set you back from what you really want to do, right? So by all means, just go for it. You know, I reached out to those people, and I'm expecting now to just, it's kind of like a little inch. You know how I talked about the uncomfortable circle? I mean, the comfort zone, where you're stepping out of that comfort zone. Well, this is my way of stepping out of the comfort zone. I'm exposing the fact that I do this, the fact that I wrote an ebook, that I wrote a book for that matter, that I have a podcast and I have social media following, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, whatever. And now I'm here talking about it. And I actually hope that my friends and family, and I decide to end up clicking on the podcast link, going to my website and being like, yo, what is this? This is actually pretty, well, I mean, I want them to hear this. You know, I want them to hear that, you know, like, hey, like, I'm accepting this, and I think that they're okay with it because they're the good people. I send it to a lot of good people that I know. You know, there's people who I know for a fact would judge me right away, critique everything I do, not just critique, but like judge. But then there's the good people I ask to critique me, and I know they're good people, and they know they want to see me successful. And that's the people I want to take along to my own success. And if I don't have success, it's okay. At the very least, I want the people out there to know that I'm doing this because I want to do it. Okay? I made a podcast, and I did this because I want to do it. I want to talk about my life as an introvert, an Asian, short, insecure introvert. And I want to bring value to people who I can bring value to. And I know there's people out there listening right now about that. And I know for a fact because some of you guys emailed me, so it's just great. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is how one thing that was really important for my girlfriend and I this past weekend is to reflect on the year. Reflection of what has happened. And I think the biggest thing that has happened is that we both grew as individuals together and as people. You know, you see, in a relationship, if you don't grow, then you're not growing in the relationship at all. You're growing together as like a united bond. Like we together were like, okay, we have a lot of struggles we need to overcome. I had a problem with like truly listening. She had problems of like being a little bit overboard on some issues, and that, you know, we had different love languages that we need to address to each other, and we still kind of do, but it's been a year, so we still got that path. You know, it's a long journey, and I think that's so crucial in a good relationship. Once again, I've been wanting to do a podcast with my fellow friend, Brandon, who also is a major introvert, along with his girlfriend. And I think he has a lot to say about how he copes with being in an introverted relationship, being that they both are very quiet people, I feel. But he's an awesome dude, and his girlfriend's really cool too. And I think that for him, he could definitely come in and chime in on what he, can say about his experience in a relationship. Okay. Now the last thing I want to talk about here is this is all related, guys. This is all related to each other. This is all related to the fact that we need to let go of the voices in our heads and the voices of others. Because I'm going to come back to this full circle to the reality that as introverts, you have to not allow your own thoughts to be so judgmental of who you are to not be able to talk to other people. Does that make sense? Yes, it does, right? Let me say it a different way. when you're talking to somebody and you're thinking to yourself, wow, why am I saying these certain things around, why am I saying this? What's going on in my head? Why am I what are they really thinking about me right now at this moment? You have to realize that this is your own voice, okay? Sure, somebody might have an impression of who you are maybe, but if you continuously keep like thinking that these people think you're dumb or stupid or something like that, then all of a sudden you like cannot talk to anybody. You get insecure, you get awkward. That's the biggest deal right there, is the awkwardness. I feel like people are often more awkward because there's stuff going on in their head that they realize, but they can't help. Like when I was a super awkward guy, I was utterly uncomfortable with conversations. My own head was thinking like two things. What am I gonna say next? Oh my God, what am I gonna say next? And then the second one was, oh shoot, like what is it? What does this person think of me? What does this person think of me? And what am I gonna say next? Oh shoot, I said something stupid. This person thinks I'm stupid now. Like that was the mindset I had, and it just got so awkward. I would sweat, I would tremble. It was just a mess. I was a huge mess when it came to conversations with people that I didn't really know. That if they had a personality that was somewhat strong, then I immediately shut down. I was just like shut down mode when somebody who was a lot stronger in personality would talk to me. Now it's totally different. Now I am more open to speak to somebody who has a stronger personality, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people not like taking over conversations or being strong, whatever, who they want to be, right? It's totally okay. I'm okay with it. Let them be them. Let you be you, okay? And I said this before time and time again, there's no perfect conversations. I mean, who defines really a perfect conversation? Is it the media? Is it society? What is it? Because in the end, like, I once said this before, media is scripted. TV is scripted. Social media is prepped and prepared, and like there's thought put into it. If there isn't any thought to it, then it's like an improv show, and it's not even. Life is improv. You have to embrace your failures and learn from them, okay? All right. Don't be afraid of rejection, because in the end, who defines what that success is? It's nobody's really going to, everybody wants to put a label on you. But you have to define like where you want your vision is and where you're going next. Because in the end, how people define you you're just gonna end up, landing back on their opinions and living the life that they thought you were gonna live, or they knew you were gonna live. Okay. I'm just rambling on now. No, I'm not. No, come on. I'm not rambling on. I got a full structure. I got a full set of notes here. Well, that's it. Actually, that's all I really want to say. We had beginning of the podcast, I talked about my anniversary and how that led me to think, okay, I got to put two lives that I was living, a double life together, and I was able to fully accept myself in that manner. Continuously grow as a person, who you are. Continue to do that. Don't let society define like what is success to you. What is success when you can define it in your own terms? I mean, Gary Vee, a huge social media guru type guy, he said it best, that the indication of your success is really in all your happiness, right? Like, are you really happy right now? I do this podcast not because I want to make any kind of money or fame or fortune, because I can do that by other means. What I want to do from this podcast is to give value to somebody who is going through so much struggle as an awkward introvert who's insecure about his life. You're never going to really lose all this, but you could cope with it so much more better with the mindset, the value, the ideas that kind of set the foundations to flow yourself into life, rather than like be like, I can't, like, it's like, I want to teach you how to swim. I want to teach you how to swim. I want to teach you every stroke. like as you put your hand over your head and you stroke, and have the right techniques with your hands, because if you're constantly if you're thrown in the water of this social interaction, connection, communication with people, and you don't know how to swim, and you don't know the important, and then you're gonna drown, right? And if you don't know the importance of swimming, if you don't know the importance of connection and communication, and it's like saying you don't know the importance of swimming, because no matter what, in the end, like if there's a time you'll be on a boat, maybe the boat will break down, all of a sudden you'll be thrown in the water, and then all of a sudden, like, you don't know what to do with yourself. What do you do with your hands? Are you just gonna let society let you sink down? No, you have that confidence, you have the ability to connect and like destroy it and kill it out there in your life. Don't let communication be a setback. This is communication and connection is the foundation of who you are as a human being. You need to learn to connect. You need to learn to communicate. That's the foundation. That's all I'm doing. I'm setting that foundation for all y'all. Okay? Setting that foundation. All right. With that said, I am going to bounce out of here. Once again, for you guys who are listening, please subscribe if you guys found any value, and if you didn't, subscribe anyways, because it's gonna be coming. It's coming. The value bombs. It's gonna be coming, guys. Ebook coming out by the end of the week. If you guys don't even know, by the time the next podcast comes out, the ebook will probably be out, most likely. Maybe not. Who knows? I cannot give a 100% promise, because things might come up throughout the week, as always. And of course, please check out my social media, introvertedintellect.com. I don't update it that often, which I should, but sometimes things get a little busy, y'all. So with that said, I am out. Introverted Intellect. Peace.
We are what you make